Little Red Riding Hood would have liked to live with Grandma, but Grandma had her own houses on the other side of the garden. Little Red Riding Hood loved visiting Grandma at her little house. They would have orange juice and little cakes that Grandma would bake with honey and sprinkles. She had pictures in frame of Little Red Riding Hood and her parents, school pictures and home pictures, pictures at wedding and special occasions. Little Red Riding Hood would cross the garden every day to go and see her grandma. One day, as she was leaving, her mother asked her to take some vegetables to Grandma in a basket. Grandma would make a nice soup with them. So, Little Red Riding Hood took the basket of vegetables and skipped through the garden to Grandma's house. The poppies were out, and the lavender. The sun shone everywhere, and it was so very pretty. But when Little Red Riding Hood skipped around the tea tree bushes, she ran headlong into the big slobbery dog, Oscar, who lived next door.
"Hello,"
said Oscar with his big rubbery lips. He spoke like this.
"Where are you going, little girl?"
"I'm taking some vegetables to Grandma's house,
"And we're going to have a cake and oranges."
Grandma's house?" slobbered Oscar enthusiastically.
Over there?"
"Yes,
"That one,"
said Little Red Riding Hood, and she pointed it out. The little cottage at the end of her garden, with the sunlight falling on it and making everything yellow and lovely.
"Look, squirrel!"
barked Oscar, and Little Red Riding Hood looked behind her. She would have liked to see a fluffy, friendly little squirrel, but she couldn't see any squirrel anywhere in the garden. And when she turned to look again, Oscar was gone. No matter, Little Red Riding Hood resumed to walk to Grandma's house. Although Grandma was only at the bottom of her garden, it took her a long time because Little Red Riding Hood liked to so often along the way, smelling the lovely roses and jasmine, and picking up a pretty little stone she saw on the path. Eventually, she got to Grandma's house, and when she knocked at the door, she was surprised to hear Grandma's voice, a little hoarse, say,
"I'm ill in the bed, child. Just push the door open and come inside."
Little Red Riding Hood believed in being helpful, so she put down the basket and pushed the door by herself. Then she picked the basket up again and come inside. She wondered. All the curtains were drawn. Grandma was in bed. Little Red Riding Hood could see the broad shape of her under the pink blankets.
"Come closer."
Once she got to Grandma, she was quite surprised. Grandma looked very different to how she had just yesterday.
"What a big eyes you have, Grandma. What a hairy face you have, Grandma. What a big feet you have, Grandma."
At that moment, Grandma walked in the back door.
"Oscar,
"Get out of my bed!" Oscar looked very sorry.
I just wanted to some Little Red Riding Hood's cake."
"Oh, you silly dog!
"I'm bringing vegetables, silly. It's Grandma who has the cake."
And indeed she did it. It was warm in the oven and waiting for them. Grandma, Little Red Riding Hood, and Oscar shared them all, and it was not one left. The end.